these words certified. Praying up to God, trying to beat the odds, hoping that we live the life.
Wow. We made it to 10 subscribers so fast. I didn't expect us to make it here as fast as we did though. We made it, y'all. I appreciate you. If my face looks shinier, it's because I just washed my face. I can't do a video looking dirty. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. This is Honey Badger Season, aka the well-known unknown. Welcome to the first episode of what we are calling Honey Guide. Our first topic for episode 1 is going to be on addiction, addictionary, whatever pronunciation that makes you feel comfortable. That's what we on today. Now the real question is, what is addiction? In a non-dictionary term, addiction is a strong desire, a strong want for a certain thing. Addiction isn't very loud either, at least to the person that is in that state. The real question is, what makes addiction the silent killer? Well, I found 3 subtle ways in how addiction is the silent killer. Let's get straight to it.
Piece of me what you wanted. I can see it, you was looking for something.
Now, what it means for addiction not to stop you from you is simply that. It isn't going to pull you away from things that triggered the habit. In fact, addiction does the opposite. Addiction will do its best to get you to go to those areas or places that will make you weak. When I'm speaking on areas or places that will make you weak, I'm talking about those places that when you go to them, your will is a lot weaker in rejecting what you don't want to do. I'm speaking about addiction as if it's a living, breathing thing, but in a sense it is. You might not be able to physically see it, but it's there. It lives inside the mind. For example, if you have a problem with drinking alcohol a little too much, addiction will do its very best to try and get you to take maybe even a little sip. You probably wasn't even thinking about alcohol that night. Probably wasn't even thinking about it the whole day. But because addiction lives in the mind, those thoughts will always creep up. And they won't just go away. Addiction is persistent. It will keep popping the idea in your head until eventually you just cave in. It gives you a false sense of self-assurance, trying to tell you that what you're doing isn't that bad. But momentary fulfillment can come with long-term effects. But addiction won't let you know that. Addiction will help you by helping itself.
I'm lost, but experience was well needed. Now I see the signs, stop me if I'm still reaching.
Why does addiction love keeping us around? Great question from you who did not ask. Addiction is like a toxic boyfriend or a toxic girlfriend. They don't want to lose you and will do anything they can possible to make sure that you do not leave, even if that results in harm to you. Addiction doesn't care about what you lose, what pain is caused, or even what damage has been left behind. If you're still around, then to addiction, there is no problem. Then that mentality starts to develop into you, making you become dependent to the addiction itself. But what does that have to do with addiction loving being around you? See it like this. Stay with me now. If you have a TV, but you don't have an outlet to plug it in, you are not watching TV. So when put like that, we'll place it like this. Addiction is the TV and you are the outlet, meaning the power source comes from you, and addiction needs that power that you make to function, whether it be alcohol, drugs, pornography, cashews, whatever you are addicted to. It's gonna keep those shows on rerun so that you feel comfortable and don't have a need to leave. But little do you know, addiction is slowly taking away the power that you have, taking that power away from you and using it for itself. Addiction is power hungry, but without a power source, it's powerless. I hope that makes sense to y'all. If not, watch it again. Let's move on to the final way addiction is the silent killer. I'm out here sounding like Dr. Phil. Look at the hands.
Divine wisdom I was given, had to accept it. My best decision, reason I decided to keep my distance for the peace.
Alright, let's really dissect this one. Let's start with what the word manipulation means. Manipulation, in a way, is a form of art. It's a skill that's used to control or prey on someone else's weaknesses. This goes back to addiction wanting you around no matter how much harm it does to you. The best way to keep you around? Manipulation. But how does addiction manipulate you? By using your weaknesses to its advantage. How many times have you told yourself you wasn't going to do something but end up doing that thing that you said you wouldn't do? Is that addiction? No. That has to do more with your self-control. But think about how you ended up doing that thing that you said you wouldn't do. Was it the environment you was in? Was it the people you were around? There's so many different ways, it's hard to pinpoint one reason. The common reason for your setback leads to one thing: being in a position where you just couldn't say no. Sometimes it's hard to resist something that you shouldn't have just because it's right in front of you. Addiction knows that. So it's always going to try and put you into a position where you can't resist the urge. Oh, I'm digging in my bag now. One of my addictions at the time was alcohol. When I stopped, there was always a feeling that made me want to go grab a drink. And it didn't help at all that it was always in front of me. Friends going out, gonna be alcohol. Family gathering, gonna be alcohol. Had a tough day, probably gonna need some alcohol. I'm watching movies, all of a sudden all the characters have the taste for alcohol. It didn't make no sense. But just the thought of you wanting to stop, that's when addiction will work its hardest to try and break you down. To addiction, they're your source for comfort. They're your reason to live. Addiction be following you everywhere. Just be in your face and in your space. I'm here for you. What you need? What you need? Tell me. Come on, I've been with you this long. You think I'm gonna leave? Just tell me what you need. I got you. It gets deep. In my personal belief, I don't believe there is a such thing as a good addiction. But manipulation can work in a way to make you think that there is. An addiction with good intentions doesn't mean it's for your best interest. Quote it.
To be great. Work hard to get it, whether it's early or it's late. No time to sit around because time never waits. Be grateful that you wake up to see another day.
And with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. If you liked the video today, go ahead and slap a like. If there's any questions you have, I can't answer them. Nah, but if there's anything that you felt I missed, or there's something that you felt you wanted to say, go ahead and throw it in the comments. But that concludes today's episode. Episode 1 of Honey Guide. Episode 1. Many more to come. Look, I know I'm looking thin right now, but I'm gonna get there. Look at this there. I'm getting there. Anyways, I appreciate everyone that came through, and I will see you all soon.